Big news, guys! Lexi left Saint Satine before the group even debuted. And it's not even a vague like, oh, she's taking a break and then they slowly phase her out. It was a legitimate like, yep, she is out. She is definitely out. They even put out a statement and all. A lot of fans have pointed out that something is amiss because they saw Lexi removing Saint Satine from her profile on Instagram. To be honest, I don't really put credence on like Instagram activities. However, I also noticed that this past month, Saint Satine hasn't really featured Lexi in their shorts or TikToks, so that's more telling than anything else. Anyway, it was announced on July 13th or July 14th if you're on Australian time like I was. It was announced that Lexi has parted ways with the group and also from hypexgeffen. She's no longer associated with them through anything. From hypexgeffen, they wrote on Weverse, "Hello, this is HNG. Thank you everyone for your love and support for Saint Satine. Following extensive and thoughtful discussions with Lexi regarding the group's future activities, both parties have mutually agreed to part ways. While Lexi will no longer continue as a member of Saint Satine or as part of HNG, we sincerely wish her all the best in her future endeavors. We kindly ask for your continued support for Saint Satine's upcoming activities, and HNG will continue to put our full support behind the group's path to debut. Thank you." Lexi later posted on Instagram, "Hi, Lexi here. When I joined Project Saint Satine, I truly believed it was the right place for me. I was excited by the presented vision and future plans we were going to be working towards together. hypexgeffen will always have a special place in my heart. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunities they've given me and the lessons I've learned from them. But now we have come to a mutual decision that this is the right time for us to move forward separately. While it feels heavy-hearted, I have found peace in that some things in life aren't destined. I have nothing but respect and appreciation for the team, but we have different ways of operating, and that's okay. Keep supporting Saint Satine. Emily, Samara, and Sakura are my forever sisters. We will always support each other and want the best for each and every one of us. Now I'm on my next adventure. My debut and future might look different than what you expected, but stay tuned. I'm not done yet. Thank you so much for your love and support. Love you, Lexi." I don't particularly know how I feel about this, mostly because I don't know the girls that much. I know I made a video of Saint Satine, but it was more from the angle of like looking at it as a group. I didn't really watch the documentaries or survival shows the girls were part of, and I don't watch their vlog. The thing is, I get attached to groups after I listen to a couple of their songs, and at the moment, Saint Satine pretty much only has like one song officially, Party Before the Party. I don't know if we should consider a We Ride because the version that they have has Ayana on it, so I don't know if that's really Saint Satine or if that's more Prelude. I don't know, but anyway, they only have one song out. I was looking forward to their albums and their EPs because I want to know more about them as musical artists. So I wasn't like sad with the departure. It was more like confusing for me more than anything. I think what intrigues me about this departure and what makes me more curious is Lexi's skill set as a singer and a producer. In Ashley Norton's video, there's a bit of indication that maybe the group might go in the direction where they will have the opportunity to produce and write their own songs, primarily with Lexi leading this charge. I was looking forward to that. I was curious to see just how much creative control hypexgeffen would give their girl groups. But in addition to that, I was also interested in like the softer, more mature R&B direction that they seem to be going for. I really like We Ride as a song. Party Before the Party is a little bit like, I don't hate it as much. The jingling jingling is a little bit annoying, but if you put your mind into it, you can kind of ignore the jingling a little bit, and I think the song is just fine. But I feel like I shouldn't really judge a group based on like the one song that they put out. So I was keen to go on this journey to see like what direction that they are going to take, and I was especially keen to support them if they have like creative control over their voice as a group too. However, Lexi's departure made me go a little bit like because she's the one who has been pushed as the producer of the group. So in this case, would the group still have creative control on their musical output without Lexi? However, Lexi's departure from the group isn't surprising. Someone on my Saint Satine video pointed out that it was intriguing that Lexi even agreed to be part of another group. When Lexi was on Dream Academy, a few weeks into the project, she dropped out because she wasn't enjoying how the girls were being pitted against each other. I also think that she wasn't keen on the schedule that they were working with, so she was like, for my mental health, I think it might be better if I drop out. Some people even speculated that her desire to become a producer and maybe the lack of hypexgeffen's interest in training the trainees in that area, that might have been a reason for her departure as well. If it is true that ultimately Lexi's biggest goal is to become a producer, it makes sense for her to leave Saint Satine. Because how much creative control can you have by being part of a group that is also part of a large company? Even Katseye, who has expressed so much desire to sing more vocal heavy songs, they're still singing songs with internet slangs as lyrics, no matter how big the group got, they are still beholden to the company. They still have to do what management asked them to do. But time and time again, we have heard so many instances where K-pop groups have to adhere to the visions that the companies have bestowed upon them. The reality is, being in K-pop girl groups or boy groups, more than any other avenues of being a musical artist, it's more rigid than you think it is. Groups who have a lot of creative control on their output and their image and their artistic direction is more often the exception than the rule. At the end of the day, these groups are still products, and the companies would still want to make sure that these products align with their vision and with the company's brand too. As a result, no matter how creative a group or an artist can get, you can only go so far. For example, as much as I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's a uniformity to their outputs. There could be exceptions, but they can also only go so far. Even the most artistically unique project in the MCU, which I would argue is probably WandaVision, it still has that MCU vibe to it. You can't bring in people like Wes Anderson, who has such a specific voice and specific artistic style, to a Marvel project because it won't fit with the brand that has been constructed around the Marvel projects. While in some ways it can be comforting that you know more or less what you're gonna get with like an MCU project. Like if I'm going to watch an MCU movie, I know more or less what I'm getting into. You're not entirely challenged. You're getting more or less the same thing. They can be different sometimes, yes, but there's always that like MCU feel to it. And I think it's the same way with these K-pop companies as well. Look at YG groups. Their vibes, their songs are kind of similar because that's the brand. Look at JYP, look at Hype, look at SM. I'm not saying that this is the truth of why Lexi decided to leave. I'm not her, of course, and I don't know anyone close to her. Like, you know, I'm just making assumptions as much as the next person, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was a deal breaker for her. Her statement indicated that she initially liked the vision and future plans that were proposed to her, but it no longer aligns with what she wants. I can see a version where the company went to Lexi and was like, hey, so we're changing a bit of the vision of the group. We're going with a different idea, and it might be good for you girls to sing the songs that we pick for you first, before you guys write your own songs. When the group is stable enough and successful enough, maybe you guys can write some B-sides. But I don't know. I don't know if this is what truly happened. I'm just making assumptions, because this seems to be the direction that a lot of groups have taken. You know, like how in Blackpink, they mostly perform songs that were written for them initially in their careers, but then as they grew bigger as artists and also as a group, they were allowed to write their own materials. Lexi also said that her debut and future might be different than what we expected. So maybe she truly wants to go a different direction where she pursues more producing. I'm trying to unpack why I'm so like focused on her wanting to be a producer. I don't know why. Maybe because like I am studying acting, but I also have a passion for like writing. Am I projecting? But on the flip side of that too, I think I'm saying this because I just want more girl groups who self-produce their songs. I'm sure there are a lot of them out there, but I don't know if they are as mainstream as like the boy groups who do their own songs. Off the top of my head, you have groups like Idol or Mamamoo or Exit, but I feel like it's more boy groups who have more creative freedom on being even allowed to write their own songs. I have nothing to corroborate this next statement, so I don't know if this is like a gut instinct, but does it feel like for companies, or at least like the bigger companies, are they less trusting of girl groups producing their own songs? Is there misogyny at play? And I'm not talking about like artists having lyric credits. I'm not trying to diminish like one part of songwriting, but I feel like when you're writing the lyrics, you know, like you're not building the blocks the same way that you're doing it when you're like writing the song from scratch. Like you're making the beats, you're making the melodies and all of those things. But I don't know, I just want more girl groups to have the opportunity to really craft their songs from the ground up. Because you know like how Soyeon from Idol seems to be the lead songwriter and producer of Idol songs? Why don't we have more of that? It would also be interesting to see how Saint Satine will operate as a 3-member group, mostly because it's been so long in like K-pop or like overall just girl groups or boy groups. Having 3 people is so rare these days. And I'm also interested to know if all the other girls have any interest in producing and songwriting as well. Another speculation from people is that Lexi is just not happy with the general direction of the group, and I'm not talking about in terms of her not having the ability to do songwriting anymore, but just like the general direction vision and general aesthetic and vibes of the group. She could have been promised one thing and then the reality doesn't fit her expectations. I'm trying to decipher if the girls even liked the name Saint Satine when it was first revealed, because they only revealed the name in the finale of Prelude the World Scout. It's just so funny that they decided to reveal the name on stage in front of a live audience instead of doing it with the briefing with the girls. Am I the only one who finds that incredibly funny? I see a lot of people joking about how Lexi left because Hype and Geffen picked Sakura as a member, but I caution people who are making jokes like these because I don't want you guys to make Sakura the source or the face of the problem. Again, she is a minor, put into this position by older people, so let's not bully her. I'm pretty sure Sakura is not the singular reason why Lexi left, but another proposed reason for Lexi's departure that I think is incredibly likely too is the fact that Lexi might just not like the schedule that was given to her, and leaving the group and also Hype and Geffen is a matter of protecting her health and mental well-being from the potential grueling work that she might have to do. It's sort of like Manon in that case, which is funny because both of them are from Europe, but I think both of them understand the balance of like work and life, and they want to make sure that their mental well-being is not hurt at the expense of hustling and whatnot, because hustling and all those things, it's a very American and very Asian mindset. So I understand if she's like, you know what, I don't think this is worth it, I'm just going to rest, and you know what, good for her as well. However, I also have this like niggling thought. It's a bit of a tangent. I don't want to seem mean or elitist, but I just wanted to share it with you guys. There's this thing that I cannot stop thinking about when I did one of my videos for Katseye, and it's quote from this young man about how in South Korea a lot of people become idol trainees because it is escapism from them, from the harsh reality of what living in South Korea is like. And you know what, like I cannot fault them either. Like if I'm given an out from doing something that would give me a lot of grief in my life, I would probably take it as well. Looking at the lifestyle and how non-existent sometimes work-life balance is in South Korea, if I'm given this opportunity to be an idol trainee, I would probably take it because it feels like a better situation. And there has also been a lot of instances of idols talking about how their initial plan wasn't really to become a K-pop idol. For example, Jisoo from Blackpink initially wanted to be an actress, but YG Entertainment suggested that she train and become an idol. However, with that in mind, I actually wonder how many of these idols are genuinely interested in being musical artists, or if being an idol is like a stepping stone for some of their other ambitions. And you know what, like that's perfectly valid of them because a lot of people do take up jobs different from their aspirations, but I also can't help but feel like this is why sometimes we just see groups who are content with performing whatever songs that were given to them by companies. Like I'm not trying to dismiss them. Personally, if the songs are good, I'm okay with it, but I also want to know how many of them are just like doing it for the sake of doing it. It's also hard and sad as well because like if you think about it, the world of K-pop is not as glamorous or as exciting or as interesting as some people make it out to be. It's actually more grueling than anything. So it's just sad for people who think that this is escapism for them and then they have to go into doing another job that also costs so much suffering. I don't know where I'm going necessarily with this point. I think I'm just saying like it's different the way that people view being musical artists, right? You have people like maybe Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, they are songwriters, they write their own songs, they perform their own songs, and so as a result you kind of feel admiration for them for having so much ownership over their musical artistry and also their voice. But then on the flip side of that, you also see these K-pop groups who are so beholden to the companies and the management and the image that the management wants to curate with them that you can't help but have questions like how much artistic input do they have with this? Are they happy with the fact that they don't have this artistic input, or are they satisfied with doing what the company tells them to? To which I'm not saying like one thing is more valid than the other, because I'm not going to say that an actor is not talented for only acting and not writing or directing, but it's also a matter of like the K-pop industry is so strange for me, and as I got older, I can't help but scrutinize it a little bit more than when I used to really enjoy K-pop when I was young. Either way, Bella Banana, thank you for watching this video and making me part of your day. Overall, Lexi's departure from the group, I think it's like shocking for me, but I'm also interested in the direction in which the group is going to take, how Saint Satine is going to operate now as a 3-member group, and whether or not like in the future, the girls will have the opportunity to also also write their own music, because it feels like Lexi's position there is to be the songwriter. And I was kind of looking forward to seeing what they will do with that much creative control. But I don't know if this is going to happen with Lexi already out of the group, or if another one of the girls, or if all of the girls will take up that torch and carry on with what Lexi wanted to do with the group. I'm looking forward to their debut. But anyway, I've let you guys know my thoughts, but now it's your turn to let me know what you guys thought about Lexi's departure from the group. What do you think of Lexi leaving Saint Satine? How do you feel about it? What do you think will happen with Saint Satine? What kind of direction are they going to take? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please leave it a like, comment, and share it, and consider subscribing to the channel for more commentaries, video essays, and yaps about random things. I have nothing else to report, so I'll leave you guys be. Have a good day, night, morning, afternoon, evening, dusk, dawn, midnight, sunrise, sunset, twilight, or whatever time it is that you are watching this video. And I hope to see you guys next time, and I hope next time my thoughts are a little bit more concrete. Bye!